Hello everybody and welcome to Bright Weird. I'm Steve and today I'm going to be talking about something rather interesting. Have you ever wondered what it means when somebody says people who move in certain circles? I mean, why circles? Why not people who move in certain triangles or people who move in certain parallelograms? They don't say that, do they? They say circles. And there's a very good reason for that. Today I'm going to be talking about mystic circles or magic circles. What are they, how they're formed, and what might happen if you do make a mystic circle. Interesting one this, so stay tuned. Here it is. It is said that the human body generates about 100 watts of energy at rest. And it's also been reported that in the case of Olympic athletes, for instance, maybe 100-metre sprinters, that the human body can generate as much as 1 kilowatt for short periods of time. Now, it's not possible, of course, generally to tap off that energy and to run a light bulb, for instance, as the potential energy inside you is used to operate the electrochemical machine that we call the human temple. Those watts of energy make the heart beat, the lungs breathe, and the brain function. However, it should be noted that there is that energy in reserve, proven by the fact that for short periods of time, we can release extreme amounts of energy, as much as 1 kilowatt hour in the case of Olympic sprinters. The mystic circle or magic circle is formed when people come together in a circle and hold hands. And when formed in a circle, a connection is made between each human temple. Consider the significant amount of potential energy. Now, should 30 people come together in a circle and hold hands at rest, and they're all generating 100 watts each, for instance, that's potentially 3 kilowatt hours in that circle, enough to run one of those really expensive 3 kilowatt fan heaters that we're all afraid to use for fear of light molestation from our energy provider. But I digress. Now let's consider that a group of people in a circle holding hands is a human battery of stored energy. And by the joining of hands, a circuit is made between people. Once we've got a circle with potential energy in it, what we now need to do is we need to make that energy flow. And to do so, we're going to need something. Let's call it mystic amps. Mystic amps are manifested by the will and intent of the people in the mystic circle. And it's that will and intent that pushes or sends the energy from one person to another. But how do we do this? The first thing we need to remember is that when we're holding hands in the mystic circle, the right hand should be up and the left hand should be down. This signifies on one side giving and on the other receiving, for the Lord blesses he who gives as well as they who receive. Let's also consider the Hermetic axiom, as above so below, the principle of correspondence. So if you were to raise your right upturned hand to the heavens and lower your left downturned hand to the earth, you would find yourself in a pose similar to that of Baphomet or Thoth. And you would be forming the classic Hermetic pose, as above, so below. But you can't do that in a circle, because the person, as you're trying to raise your right hand up, the person to your right is trying to move their left hand down. So a battle of wills ensues, and we end up being polite, and we end up sort of holding hands in a mystic circle, something like this, about hip level. So now that we're holding hands, one right hand up, one left hand down, through this duality, a positive and negative connection are made. And now what we need are those mystic amps to make the energy flow from one to the other. And we do this by sending a mystic word. We do this by sending will and intent around the circle. For the sake of this lecture, let's consider that everyone in the circle needs to be thinking and willing the same thing to happen. So they all need to be in possession of a word. Let's just give it a word And let's make that word love. L-O-V-E, love. When we send the mystic word, you mustn't just speak it, you must send it with will and force around. So you might, if you like, have a group of people holding hands, and the first one will say, love, 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 love. That might work, might not, probably not. So what we do is we letter or half the word into its constituent parts so that people expect part of the word to come to them and they can continue it and pass part of the word on to the next person. And it happens thusly. So you send the mystic word. The first person will say L, and the next person will say O, and then it will go V, E, L, O, 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 V, E. And you send the word around the circle. Now, it's important that you just don't stand there and you see the letters coming towards you and think, oh, what am I going to say? Am I going to be O or V? What am I going to be? V. You don't do that, because that won't work at all. What we're trying to do here is come together as a group, as a collective, and make something special happen. So you need to actually make it sound like a word. So the letters that are being said by the individual person in the mystic circle need to flow. So it would be L-O-V-E, 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 and the word will flow around the circle. So here we are, formed in a circle, all come together with a common cause, and we've sent a perfectly chanted word around to send the mystic energy around the circle, to send that potential electrical energy, if you like, around the circle with whatever else it's going to drag around between the individuals with it. And at this point we need to consider that we have actually created something, for in the beginning was the Word. And now we've created something physical. We've actually created a circle of intent, a battery of human beings. Now, if it's done right, as the word flows around the circle and the letter comes towards you and you say your letter, you'll feel a tingling in your fingers. You'll feel the electrical energy passing through one hand and out of the other. Now, it's not like the finger lightning from the Emperor in Star Wars. It's not like that at all. It's much more subtle, but you will feel it all the same. Anyway, what's next? This circle that we've created of maybe 30 people in a big circle, this circle that we've created is a material, it's a physical thing, it's a material thing in four-dimensional space. And this symbol is made of living things. And in four-dimensional space, a symbol it stands. Now, if alchemy is to be believed, there are two aspects. There's the material world and there's the spiritual world. Now, it should be considered, in fact, here's the truth. In the higher planes of dimensions, living things are symbols and symbols become living things. So, in the physical world, this circle that we've created, this physical thing, is a physical thing. But in the higher dimensions, it's no longer a symbol, it's a living thing. So this circle, this symbol that we've created down here on earth, between us, in the spiritual realm, it's no longer a symbol, it's a living thing. And us, the humans, the living things, we become symbols. So down here on earth, you've got a circle made of living things, but in the spiritual realm, you've got a living thing made of human symbols. It's as above, so below. It's the opposite to what we have. The point I'm trying to make is that we have actually created something, not just in the physical world, we've created a living entity, a single living entity in the spiritual world. Now there's a name for that, and that name is an egregore, which is described as being a distinct non-physical entity that arises from a collective group of people with the same aims and intent. Historically, the concept is referred to as angelic beings or watchers, and the specific rituals and practices associated with them. More contemporarily, the concept has been referred to as a physical manifestation of thought form occurring when any group shares a common motivation. Other examples of egregore are, for instance, that of Christmas Day, where people all over the world come together with the same will and intent and create a huge spiritual entity that flows through all of the dimensions of the world. And that egregore is known as, it's not known as Bob or Derek, is it? It's known as the Christmas spirit. Anyway, so back to forming a mystic circle. When we've created our circle and we've sent the word around, generally we'll then say a prayer. Now, one person in that circle, it'll all go quiet, and one person in that circle will say a prayer. Now, that prayer shouldn't be really read, it should be recited from memory, because your true consciousness, the person you really are, doesn't exist in this blue avatar, this skin and flesh that we're currently driving at the moment. Your true self exists in a higher dimensional state, in the astral plane. And the act of drawing memory is the act of connecting from the physical self to the higher self, and a physical link is joined, which then further connects this mystic circle here on earth with the astral plane above. So it sort of locks it in, if you like. At the end of the prayer, you'll notice that a word is generally said, and that word will probably be Amen. But you just don't say Amen. You need to vibrate it, as if perhaps that you're saying the Buddhist word Om, Amen, all together in the circle, Amen. You might think I'm mad, and I know that people watch these videos who think Steve's gone quite mad. However, if you've been in one of those circles and experienced this with a group of like-minded people, you'll know that something very, very magical happens, because you can all feel the power of the Egregore coming down, because you all become one large collective. Of course, at the end of the day, you have to dissolve this mystic circle and close it down, which is essentially like hibernating the Borg cube, if you like, because the next time that you come together, whether that be in a mystic circle or whether it be next Christmas, the Egregore will come out of hibernation and it will be there waiting for everyone who was there before, and will welcome and become stronger by anyone who's entered the circle. Some other points I want to add there about the astral plane. So we live in four-dimensional space: up, down, left, right, forward and back. That's 3D. The fourth dimension is time, the very thing that makes me be able to move my hands in this crazy manner. But the fifth dimension is the astral plane, if you like. And it's said that in the astral plane, I mean, there's a very old book here. This is Theosophical Manual number 5 by C.W. Leadbeater, 1905. This little one is very good book. So in the astral plane, you've got different energies or entities that reside there. I'll explain them. So the energies or entities that reside in the astral plane, some are human. That's human energies, people sleeping, people meditating into that place. Some are no longer human, and that could be considered the deceased, people between lives, people who haven't reincarnated yet. So the dead, if you like. So there are people who are human, people who are no longer human. There are also energies and entities that were never human. So they could be the energies or entities of animals or elemental creatures or even give it a name, aliens, if you like, whatever you want to call them. So what have we got there? We've got, in the astral plane, we've got entities and energies that are human, those that are no longer human, those that were never human, and there's a fourth. The fourth is artificial entities. Now the egregore that we've created in this mystic circle is one of those artificial entities. Now, there are different types of artificial entities that can be created. This is just one example, a collective artificial entity brought into true existence in the spiritual plane by a group of like-minded people all doing the same ritual. Another example of an artificial energy is if you curse somebody. So if you think terrible things about that person that you really don't like, and you wish terrible things upon them, and you imagine horrible things happening to them, you are creating a dark energy or shadow in the astral plane that will descend down upon them. That's not a very nice thing to do. But what you've got to remember is what you put out there is going to come back on you threefold. So it isn't just going to descend on them as a bad entity, it's also going to affect you mentally. It's going to descend on you as well. So best not to create artificial entities unless you're doing it with will and intent, with goodwill and good intent in a group environment as part of an organised ritual. Anyway, great little book that. If you want to get these, there's a whole load of them. Theosophical manuals, you can get reprints. I mean, I've got some really old, but this is the astral plane. I've got the Devil Shantic plane, and there are many others as well. But anyway, I digress. Just wanted to say a few things about the mystic circle there, and what it is, how you create it, and what you're actually doing in the physical realm and the astral realm when you're doing it. So that's it. That's all I wanted to say on that one. You've been watching Bright Weird. I'm Steve. Thanks for watching.